And we're recording now. So thank you for joining me today. We are here to look at Microsoft Bookings, which is a calendar feature inside of Office 365. So I appreciate your time today. I know that you're very busy, and I'm hoping that the tool that we look at today and the multitude of uses of that tool can kind of help you stay organized and kind of keep on top of all the things that we have going on, especially when it comes to scheduling other people and finding times that work for everyone. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to start here by sharing my screen and jumping to bookings. And a good thing to note here is that we are talking about an Office 365 tool. But unlike a lot of our other Office 365 tools like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, you have that application on your computer, right? So you're able to open Word without an internet connection. You're able to work on Excel without having internet. You have those applications on your computer. Bookings is not that, okay? Bookings is a web-based application. All right, so we need to be on the internet to get to bookings. All right, we cannot open a bookings app or use that in another place without an internet connection. So we definitely need to be online. All right, so the place we start here, you can start from any kind of Office 365 doorway. For me, I just go to my email. You see I'm open here on my email. You have all of your tools along the left-hand side. And these are kind of sorted by what is used most at Widener. You can come down here and expand this list a little bit more, but you'll see your bookings icon here at the bottom of this linear left-hand side list. If your list looks a little bit different, it might be from the size of your monitor or how you have your page set up. If that's the case, you can just click on your waffle in the top left-hand corner, your 9 dots, and you'll find bookings inside of that menu as well. So you can go there and get the title and the symbol, or for me, I just have the symbol here on the left-hand side. Another important thing to note is that there is not a link for bookings yet in My Widener. So a lot of us are very used to kind of just coming to My Widener, typing in email, typing in something and going there, right? Kind of our entrance to that portal. So here, when I do book or bookings, it doesn't really recognize that yet. I'm sure as we kind of make our way down the road and the tool becomes a little bit more widely adopted, that will change. But what you do get is a link to Office 365 here at the bottom. So if you're like, oh, need to go to bookings, how do I get there? You can get here from Widener, My Widener, click on your Office 365. And then inside of here, you can get to all of these other tasks, which will take you to kind of this booking. So depending on how you want to get there. And then, of course, you could always take your bookings page, which is this URL right here, outlook.office.bookings/calendar. And you can always just take that and drag it to your favorites bar, right? And now you never need to come to the bookings page again. You can just click up in your favorite bar and get to your booking calendar. Okay, so a couple different ways to get there. If you're on your computer, that's a weird thing to say. Obviously, you're on your computer because you're here on Zoom. But as you're on your computer, I encourage you to open your bookings page, follow along with what we're doing. The good thing about this, and this was kind of our oh no kind of shaky thing that came along with the scheduler in Canvas. When you do something with that, it kind of pushes it out to students and the people that are in the class and the people that are in their sections. So if you mess that up, or you mess up dates, or you mess up timing, then you get emails and why isn't this right and all those things. So here with bookings, nothing gets pushed out until you push it out, okay? Everything is shared through a URL. So all the settings you're making, all of the kind of time periods that you're making, all of those things that go along into an individual calendar, you can look at, you can preview, you can test all of those things before you push it out to the world and allow them to actually come in to that booking calendar and reserve time. Go ahead, Rose.
When I clicked on the bookings thing, Andrew, it's saying get it now. Do I not have it? But I had the little B design.
Yeah, can you, what is it? Is it just a link that's get it now?
It's Microsoft Booking, online scheduling, get it now.
Just click edit now. I think
Okay.
it's just your first time.
Okay,
I probably had that the first time too. I think it's just kind of initiating that conversation between the bookings app and your calendar, because what's happening here, as opposed to us using some third party scheduling service, if you think way back when we were using Acuity scheduling for advising, you're using this third party service and then you have to link it to your other calendar. Or you have to put the appointment somewhere else just so you can keep track of it. But here, because you're in Office 365, this is always looking at your Office 365 calendar. Okay. So no matter what appointments you make or what settings you put on your bookings calendar, people cannot double book you. Right. So even if you say I'm available on Wednesday from 3 to 5, but you happen to have class on Wednesday from 3 to 4, and those things overlap, bookings will not let people book in that slot because your calendar has your class on it, right? So that kind of comes along to this back end of build out your calendar so we know when you're available, when can we book you for appointments. So if you have those class times on there, you have maybe some of your personal appointments, some of the time where you're not available, you can just block that off. The bookings app is always looking at that calendar, and it will never let someone book an appointment where you already have something as the owner. Even if you say you're available inside of the booking calendar, your calendar overrides that feature. So that's a really nice thing. It's kind of our checks and balances here. You're not scrambling on a Tuesday afternoon because all of a sudden you have a class and somehow someone signed up for advising. It won't happen. Okay. As long as that information is inside of your Office 365 calendar and you've populated that, then those two things will look at each other and say, nope, even though you say you're available, you're not available. We're not going to let Susan sign up here. We'll have to find a different time slot. And we'll look at that a little bit closer here. Go ahead, Rose. How did that go? Or you just
it was
raised?
fine. So you have
Okay.
to type in, I had to type in like Widener University and type in my name and it found me. So.
Okay. So just that initial link.
Mhm.
Thank you. I appreciate that information. So yeah, we want to talk right to our own calendar because we know that that's a place where a lot of our information already is. All right. So let me take a look at this. You can see here I'm on the bookings page. Just like everything Office 365, pretty self-explanatory as far as titles and go, but it is a new tool, right? So we kind of have to explore and get used to it. It is very Google friendly as well. Okay, so if you're stuck, you're looking for some kind of video, you're looking for someone to walk you through, you're looking for a tutorial, Google is your friend. Okay, bookings is an Office 365 product, so a lot of people are using it out there. So there's a lot of good resources for us. All right, I want to start here in the top left-hand corner where you have a drop-down menu. Okay, if you have not done anything here yet, you probably only have open another calendar or new bookings calendar. Okay, because you have nothing to start yet. But as you can see, I've already started 2 of these. All right, I have Dr. Bobel's office hours and exam 1 remediation. This was something I mentioned to Steph and Monica before the rest of our group came in today. This is one of the best features of this tool, right? Notice I have 2 calendars inside of the same space here. So when I have someone that wants to remediate for exam 1, I'm sending them the URL for the remediation exam 1 calendar. When I have someone that wants to book office hours, I'm sending them the office hour calendar. Now, you don't have to do that. You can just have one calendar and everything can be in one place. But the benefit of having the multiple calendars is you get the settings across the board. So maybe you say, I only want to remediate exam 1 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening from 4 to 7 p.m., right? And you can tell that calendar that that's your only availability is those 3 days and those 3 time slots. And those are the only time your students can sign up. Now, if you say, hey, we're going to remediate, here's my booking calendar, and it's just a general calendar, now your students can sign up everywhere. And you're doing remediation on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday night at 9 p.m. And you're kind of all over the place. For me, not necessarily the way my brain works. I like to kind of chunk it together and kind of have those pieces in a solid bucket. right? So my office hours might be at a different time. My remediation might be in a different time. So that's the benefit of having the double calendar here. Okay. So let me go to the exam one remediation, which is exactly what it sounds like, right? I've had an exam. I want my students to come remediate with me. I want to sign up for a time to come, meet with me and look at this. Now, what you can do, and you'll see that your calendar here is blank because no one has signed up for remediation in this space. If for some reason a student contacts you or drops by your office and says, hey, I want to remediate for that exam, I don't know where the email is, and it was just kind of a word of mouth thing, or at the end of class, you can always come up here and just say plus new booking and just add that person right to the calendar in an instance, the same way you would, if you were the secretary at a desk in a dentist's office. Someone says, when's your next appointment? Oh, let's put you on April 7th at 4 p.m. April 7th at 4 p.m. Would you like a reminder card? Sure, here's a reminder card. Now, as you put all that stuff in, you put their email in and everything, that all goes to them. They get an email reminder saying they have an appointment booked. They get a link that allows them to reschedule their appointment or cancel their appointment. So all of the kind of back and forth that comes along with managing this is now in the student's hands, okay? Because they're on the calendar, they have the ability to move the appointment, they have the ability to write a note, they have the ability to communicate with you there. So you're kind of putting the ball in their court by allowing them to use this tool, okay? So let's go up here and look at kind of starting from the bat, okay? I'm gonna go to new bookings calendar, okay? Let's walk through this to start. You can see that we can start from scratch, or you can clone something that already exists. Now, what would be the point of cloning something? You like the settings, right? Maybe your exam one remediation calendar has everything you need in it. The only thing you need to change is the name, because now it's exam two, but you're still available in the same time periods. There's still 30-minute slots. You're not changing any of that. So you can just clone that and make a copy of it, change a title, whatever you might need to do to be successful in that space. For now, I'm just going to start from scratch because I want you to see what kind of settings and what we get right off the bat here. So let's say we are going to do, let's do spring advising, or actually it's going to be fall advising coming up, right? Because we're going to be advising for fall advising 22. You can come in and put education. You can make a logo. You can put an advising logo in. You can put a picture of you, whatever you want to put here. Again, the world is your oyster. If you don't put anything, it's just going to take the first two letters of what you did and put it in a symbol. Look at my exam remediation in the top left-hand corner. It's just called ER, right? Not very explanatory for myself or maybe for someone else who's looking at it. So maybe for advising, you want to go to Google Images and find an image that just says advising, right? Or find something that maybe use the image that you have in your advising group in Canvas, or whatever might kind of give you that aha click. So you can always add a logo there. All right. So I'm going to create my calendar. And you'll see here that inside of your bookings, they use services, right? So we think of this kind of in what are you offering? And in this case, a generic name that the system gives is just an initial consult, right? So you and I talking, right? So maybe this doesn't really make sense. It's not going to make sense to your students. So I'm just going to call this advising session. One-on-one. Okay. Now my advising sessions one-on-one, as you can see, offered from 1 hour, Sunday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. or to 5 p.m. No, thank you. Right. We definitely don't want to be available on Saturday and Sunday, and I don't want to be available all day long for advising. So I do have the ability to come in here and make a change to your timing, right? You can also link teams. A lot of us are very used to Zoom. The students are very used to Zoom, but you can say that this is an online appointment and it will go right back in to your teams, okay? What it doesn't give you here is the ability to change this 9 to 5 yet, right? So even though I click on the pencil, I can change the name, I can change the duration, but I don't have the ability to come in here and change the 9 to 5 yet. Okay, I have to do that in another space. I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. If for some reason you have something else that you're offering, maybe you're offering an advising session, and instead of, maybe you have some students you want to meet with for 30 minutes because those are juniors and sophomores. And maybe you have a couple seniors that are graduating in the spring and they don't need 30 minutes. Maybe they only need 15 minutes. So you could always come in here and say, add another service, and this would be your senior advising. Okay, and now when I'm come in as a user, I can choose either that hour block for the regular advising, or I can say, I'm a senior, I want senior advising. Now here, because I'm doing a brand new one, I can say that I'm available for senior advising on Tuesday and Wednesday from 2 to 5. All times are in Eastern, sure. Continue. Now, kind of an extra feature, I don't see a lot of uses for this inside of our space, maybe for course coordinators who are managing tutoring schedules or managing kind of meetings for clinical instructors and things like that. You can add other people to the calendar for the services, right? So here on the advisor, it's my calendar. I'm offering the services, right? There's no one else offering the services. Now, if let's say this was Delisa setting up the calendar for advising, maybe she's creating a general advising calendar and her services are offered by herself, Michael Ward, Tracy Williams, Rose Rossi, right? We can put all of those people in here, and then me as the customer, I can say, okay, I'm going to this. I want to meet with Tracy Williams because I just have a general question about a course, and I just need a 15-minute slot. So I can choose that person and I can choose that time. So really a whole lot of levels of flexibility here when it comes to booking. For us, again, I think for the most part, it's you as the service. It's your calendar. You're the advisor. You're the person offering remediation. If you're team teaching, maybe you're putting your colleague in there. And then the student can say, I want to meet with this person for an hour. I want to meet with this person for an hour. Or Steph can do it for, Tuesday and Wednesday from 3 to 4. And Rose can do it on Thursday and Friday from 1 to 3. So those services can be on the same calendar, but just offered by different people in different time slots, right? So there's definitely different levels of organization we can go here. I think, again, for the most part, we're okay at the top level. You're the person offering the services. You're the person offering the advising. All of that is good. You can add those people and click allow these providers to manage the booking calendar as well. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, and I will add service. Here's my advising sessions, the 2 that I just did, and I will continue. Who do I want to be able to sign up for this? No self-service would be you creating everything. Not really the point for this, right? We want to put the power in the user hands, allow the person to create their appointment, allow the people to get rid of it. So you have people in my, organization, which will require users to sign in with their Widener username and password to even book an appointment with you, right? I wouldn't just be able to be a Joe Schmo who has a URL. I click on it and I put something in. Or if this is anyone, meaning you just send the URL to yourself, other colleagues, whatever that might be, then it can go to anybody. I could see this a good use for working with other people on scholarship, maybe outside of the university, working with other colleagues at different universities. I could also see it for recruitment, right? Meeting with students, giving them an opportunity to talk to yourself or talk with other professors or things that go along with that. So in that case, it would need to be anyone, right? Because if those people don't have a Widener username and password yet, so I just need to be able to give them a URL and they need to be able to access the page. This can always be changed. Okay, so I can always go into the settings and say, okay, I'm changing this calendar. I want anyone to be able to get it because now I'm using the same calendar with, different people, or for some reason, someone's Widener email is messed up or something like that. And they just need to be able to access it. So you can always change those settings to go in. All right, so I'm going to say all that, and I'm setting up my calendar, and all that's good. And look here, I already get my page. This is my URL here that I'm going to give to people. Let me copy this and I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, you guys are underneath my menu here. And here, so as a student, oh, that's not what I want. As a student, I come in and I say, hey, you know, I want to book my advising appointment. And you say, no problem. Here's the URL. Please book that advising appointment. Here is that URL. So this is the client scheduling page. This is what you and I just set up. We set up Fall Advising 22. Am I a senior advising, or do I just need my advising session one-on-one? All right, and you'll notice that there's nothing on this calendar until I select a service. And that goes back to, okay, well, different people can offer these different services at different times. So my senior advising has particular times and particular time frames that it's available. And my advising session, my 1 hour, has particular time and time frames that are available. So depending on what service I pick, that then allows me to go into the calendar and change that around. Go ahead, Steph.
How can I make, you know, if I'm making a calendar for advising and I have different times on different days?
Yes, perfect. So instead of saying I'm available on Tuesday, all Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 5, we want to say I'm available on February 21st through February 24th from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., right? We want to give a more definitive time range, and we can certainly do that. I will get there in a second, but that is definitely a possibility. And I think that's probably how most of us would use this. The office hours, more open-ended, right? You have your prescribed office hours. These are the times you're available. You can kind of do that. But things like advising sessions and test remediations, that's going to be this certain kind of 4 or 5 day time frame, certain number of hours where you're available. And then it's on to the next thing. You're on to exam 2, right? You're on to the next point of advising. So we don't necessarily carry that over. So that's a good point, Steph. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to get my scheduling page. One more second here. I want to show you your choosing my service, right? Choosing my time. Who am I doing it with? Andrew Boble, I'm the only one there. They can leave that as anyone, and because it's your calendar, it just goes to you, right? But if you have multiple people here, that's when you kind of want to give them the opportunity to choose, right? If I'm running this for an office, then I have people choose where they want to go or who's available. And then here are these details, right? What's my name? What's my email? Address, probably not so important. What's my phone number? Good piece of information in case you can't connect. And then a great notes portion. I thought this was another great thing outside of just giving my basic information. You know, this is where you can give the student or the colleague can give a little bit of insight about the conversation. If this is regular advising, maybe I want to add a minor, right? So me as the advisor, I know going in what my conversation is about. I'm not just sitting down and saying, hey, Rose, great to see you today. What are we talking about, right? I can prepare myself as a professional and say, okay, we're talking about a minor. You want to look at social work. I have the information for the social work department. I have my minor paperwork pulled up. I have my email all ready to go because you gave me that information on the front end as to what this meeting is about, right? And that could be anything in there, right? So I thought that was a great opportunity to kind of give some background information to the administrator of the calendar, which we don't always get. We just get someone booked an appointment. It's like, oh man, what's that appointment for? You know, providing a little bit of detail can really help there. So I thought that was a good feature there. I'll come back here to this fall advising. I'm going to exit here. You can see that after I created, I kind of just got this fall advising is ready. I can always get back to this, no problem. You'll see in my top left-hand corner, I now have my 3 calendars. I have my fall advising 22, my exam 1 remediation, and my Dr. Boble's office hours. All their own calendars, all their own time frames, all their own services, but they are all looking at your calendar that is in your office account, right? So again, right back to our main point. If you have your class regular stagnant on your schedule. You teach from on Tuesday and Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m. and you have that reoccurring on your calendar. If for some reason you say you're available for one of these things during that time, it will not let the student book those things. All right. You have a haircut scheduled. You have a doctor's appointment scheduled, whatever that is. If you have that time blocked off on your Office 365 calendar, it will not allow anyone else to schedule a booking during that time. So you cannot be double booked in that sense. So that's a great feature there. So again, it takes a little bit of front end building on your side, obviously putting that stuff in, managing your own calendar. For some of us, that's, just a regular day. For others, that's starting from square one. So depending on where you are on that, that's a little bit different of a task. But let's take a look here at this fall advising, because I want to touch on Steph's question about kind of making this, the specific time frame where I'm available. I'm not available every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. I'm available this week and the next from Wednesday to Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Right. So I want to be able to tell the calendar to do that. So pretty straightforward. Here you can see your fall advising. As people start to sign up, they'll appear here in this customer pane. You can see that no one has signed up for fall advising. What I did do is I think I did one here in remediation. I did. So here is exam 1 remediation. Joe Belgrash signed up for exam 1 remediation. He submitted his email address, which was my Gmail account, gave a phone number, and then left in the notes, I look forward to reviewing the quiz. Awesome. I know this is one of my customers for this calendar. This is when Joe's coming. And I can go in and get his phone number, get his email address, whatever I need to. Let's go back to that fall one where I didn't have any customers and come in here to settings. Now, this is our end all be all, right? This is where everything is. So when you look, it opens to this probably main thing that everyone's looking for is how do I get this information to the other users, right? How do I share the URL? So here's that URL. If you click on it, you'll see it kind of opens in this scheduling page that we already looked at. You can click your copy button and this will put it on the clipboard and you can come up to a email and inside of an email, you can just paste that URL and send it out and allow people to book that way. Okay. You can also take that URL and just hit email and it will see your Office 365 account and it will create a default message for you where it makes the subject. You can now book online. You can now book and manage appointments on our booking page. Obviously, you can change any of this, but it starts the email for you rather than doing the copy and paste. Great feature of it being plugged in to your Office 365 account. Another absolutely awesome feature is the embed. Okay. This gives you your back-end iframe code so that this calendar can sleep on any page on the internet. And you're like, well, where the heck would I put it? Inside of your course. Right. So here I am as a student and I'm working inside of my informatics course. And let's say you can put it here in modules. I can say that I want a new page and it's a blank page. And this is our exam remediation sign up. Perfect. And now when I come to exam remediation sign up and I edit this page, I'm going really deep into the computer lingo here. And please, if you want to go this step and you're like, I have no idea how you did that, please help me. I am happy to help you. I am clicking on the cloud icon with the greater than and less than symbol all the way underneath the 3 dots in all of your HTML windows in Canvas. That brings me to this embed code screen. I can paste what I just grabbed from the embed code on the booking page, hit submit, and save. Now I get this link to schedule online, right? So this link can be just on a page. It can be on the front page of your course. It can be on the bottom of you. It can be put at the bottom of your email signature. anywhere else that you feel like you need to kind of put this information to be able to push it out to the customer, right? In this case, the students or the learner or the colleague. So a bunch of different places we can use that here. All right, let's get back to our question of scheduling, right? Here I go to, I'm in fall advising, I go to settings, it opens on, where did it open to? Settings. Hold on, I want to speak correctly. Fall advising. I click on settings. Okay, it just opens to staff. I'm going to the fourth button here, which is your business information. And then underneath that is your business hours. Okay, here is your kind of set, but this is, what happened here? Because I want my custom fields like we were talking about. That just gives me another time frame on there. Let's see if I need to go back here. Just like any tool, I do not consider myself an expert at the moment. It's fairly new to me as well. So we need to find a little bit of time to work out the kinks sometimes. And I apologize for all of my clicking. There we are. So inside of Fall Advising 22, settings, booking page, default scheduling policy. And instead of being our kind of default, which is that normal 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, I can set a different availability for a date range. Okay, and when I click on that, that allows me to say, I start on the 22nd and I end on the 25th or whatever that might be. And you can put in when you're not bookable or when you're maybe allowing for custom hours on a reoccurring basis. So here you can go in and kind of dive a little bit deeper because you're right. Not all the time is it going to be. I'm available every Monday from 3 to 5. So we can come in and get a little bit more specific on dates and times to drill down to those specific periods where the advising might be happening or the remediation might be happening inside of there. Does that help, Steph?
Yes,
Perfect. Absolutely, no problem. I'm going to discard there. I also wanted to come in here and show you the ability to kind of add custom fields to your booking form, right? We looked at, it allows you to do name, it allows you to do email address, allows you to add some notes. Maybe you're looking for some other piece of information. Maybe you're looking for, a specific question that they have, or a specific opportunity where they might be able to collaborate on an assignment or something like that. Literally anything, right? I can come in here and type that question out. So what specific questions do you have about quiz 1? So now when I come in on the booking page, I have the opportunity to answer that as a student, right? So I can come in and say, okay, I really didn't understand, I don't know, a nursing topic. I really didn't understand something that was on quiz number 1, right? Some part of the nursing process or some part of, the biology or whatever that might be. But you can get down to be very specific and add that stuff to your booking page so that your students, your customers, your colleagues have an opportunity to put that in there. They don't have to, it's not mandatory, but it gives them the ability to, again, provide some of that information on the front end. So as the instructor, as the teacher, you can be prepared for those things. The other thing I wanted to look at inside of here, is when you do adding new customers, right? We talked about sending out links to your students or, putting it in an email or adding it on the front page of your course or putting it at the bottom of your email signature, whatever that might be. All of that's all good. You can also manually add customers, right? So let's say those 5 students that you need to remediate with, right? You could always just come in and put in their first name, last name, and have that list already here generated without having the students to go back and do it. I haven't used it in this way. I have read, again, I haven't used it in this way, that once you put a valid email address in here, that person then gets a notification to sign up for said calendar, right? So this is exam one remediation. And I know that Monica needs remediation. I can put Monica's email address in here. And now, before even getting anything, it's, hey, you've been added as a customer to exam one remediation. Please click the link below to schedule your appointment, right? So it's kind of a little bit more work on your end, right? Because you have to put that information in, but it gives you a little bit more of the checks and balances of, hey, did you get my email? Did you see that you're supposed to sign up for this? How comes I've sent this 5 times and you haven't done anything? It's no longer generic. You are now sending the email to that specific person because you have put that person's email address in the system, right? So, and now you have the ability to go in and look at, this email was sent on this date, this email was sent on this date, this email was sent on this date. And then they come to you in the last week of semester and they need 4 points and they say, well, I didn't know you were trying to get a hold of me. And you bring up your booking app and you say, I sent you emails on this date, this date, this date, and this date to do remediation, and I got no answer, right? So you have a little bit of that paperwork trail we know we need when it comes to some of the end of semester conversations or some of the things that go along with being successful in the program, a little bit of checks and balances there. So that's a nice thing to have there as well. I'm going to pause there and check my chat. I didn't have anything pop up. I want to give you the opportunity to unmute yourself and ask any questions you might have or any uses you might see for this outside of what we discussed here today, or any thoughts you might have. Now is your opportunity to share. All right, perfect. I'll take that as no questions. If that changes in the next 5 minutes, you're welcome to unmute yourself. I wanted to just come back to your square one here in my email, right? I'm opening my Widener email. I'm not on the bookings page yet. I have all my emails that are going on here now. A very important aspect of this, as we started, is your own calendar, right? Because bookings is constantly looking at this piece that's already here. So we need to make sure that your events, and I'm going to give this a second to kind of populate here, that your events and your things are built out inside of this space. Now, as you see here, my SON is the one that's checked. Make sure you have your calendar checked as well. I always like to peep in on Rose's calendar because then I know I'm not double booking things because Rose goes to everything. So that's always a good thing to kind of check. But if you're always looking, if you're looking for other places and other places to collaborate or places where your opportunities are open, make sure you have that calendar checked correctly on the left-hand side. And then, of course, as we talked about, if you have your own events planned out, so say my N302 course is online, but at the beginning of the semester, I come in, I say, this is my N302 course. It repeats weekly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every week until, not until August 9th, but that's perfectly fine. I'll save it that way. And we'll say that. And it goes from 3 to 4 p.m., right? So now on my calendar, my N302 from 3 to 4 p.m. will be marked off on every Tuesday and Thursday. So no one will have the ability to book with me in my bookings when I come and put these things on here. So the repeat is a great feature when you're talking about course or talking about your classes and your things that are happening all the time, your office hours, things like that. And then, of course, if you're just coming in and you have your own personal stuff, say you're off campus or you're on vacation or whatever that might be, always come in and put that stuff on here. So again, your bookings and your other things are looking at, oh, look at, change that symbol to a nice little beach scene there. If you're on vacation there, we can say that's from, not today, but we could start tomorrow to, that whole week. And then that way, that whole time is blocked off. No one can go in, no one can book on that time. Your colleagues can't see that. That was always one of the biggest things when it came to calendar and kind of sharing out your calendar and kind of these collaboration features that we have going on. You saw that I clicked on Rose's calendar. That's because Rose has specifically shared her calendar with me. All right. That's not me. I can't just go in and see what's on Monica's calendar. I can go in and see what blocks of time Monica's calendar has blocked off, but I can't see that you have a doctor's appointment or that you have a class or that you're getting surgery, like all of those personal things that go onto your calendar, I can't see, right? But I can see those blocks of time, right? So that's important to kind of keep in mind here. That's always kind of been the little hesitation. Well, I don't want everyone to see what I'm doing. I don't want that information to be out there. That's perfectly fine. No one can see that. What we see is that you're busy. And that's what the system says. It just says that you're busy during that time because you have something blocked off. And that's fine. If you want to make it public, you can do your calendar and share it with people. But for most of our people in a faculty role, not an administrative role, not in a support role, that isn't necessary. We just kind of want that basic skeletal outline of, these are my classes. This is when I'm on campus. This is when I'm available. This is when I have office hours. And that gives us the ability to book appointments in-house. Then obviously gives your students, your colleagues, an exceptional amount of flexibility when it comes to booking appointments with you if your calendar is built out with your own personal things inside of that. Does that make sense? All right, go ahead, Rose.
So I'm a little confused because I feel like there are all of these options. So
there's a lot of options.
When do you use this versus the Find Time versus the scheduling assistant versus the calendar and Canvas? I mean, I just feel like now we have 5 things.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So a lot of different things to differentiate. Let's start with the Canvas part, right? Because the calendar and Canvas and the Canvas scheduler works with your course, right? So my advising course, the students that are enrolled in that space can use that scheduler. So if you have an advising course in Canvas, you probably don't need an advising calendar here, right? Because you're double dipping. You already have your people in a course, they can already use scheduler. Now you might have an office hour calendar, right? Because that's different than your spring advising sessions or your fall advising sessions, right? So that office hour calendar is helpful. So the differentiation there is the Canvas, the student has to be enrolled in the course to use the scheduler. Here, no one's enrolled. You just get a URL that goes out to any Joe Schmo that can go to anyone. So I don't have to worry about the enrollment or anything like that.
Okay.
Now, coming back to the Office 365 products, Find Time is a tool that is used for those of us who don't know. Find Time is a tool that can be used inside of Scheduler that shows you when other people are available, right? And that is, I believe, in my mind, a little bit more useful in you giving a multiple choice, kind of open-ended. Do you want this day at 3 o'clock or this day at 4:30 or this day at 10:30? Whatever that might be. That's a little bit more specific. And probably a little bit more of the professional kind of setting. I haven't sent a student a Find Time link, right? That's something that we normally do in-house. Same thing with the scheduler, right? That's you looking at multiple people at the same time, seeing when people are available, kind of those blocks of time. But again, everything's looking at your Office 365 calendar. So you're right. There is a lot of overlap, but definitely specific uses for each one of these.
So this is more specific. Just probably the best use for this is scheduling multiple student appointments.
Yes.
In that environment. So we wouldn't necessarily use this to schedule appointments if I have to find a time to get together with a bunch of faculty or?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
really the time I would see this like for you, if you were doing like end of the year performance reviews, right?
okay,
And you had a performance review calendar and we were
Okay.
able to go in as staff and find an hour block of time that works for us.
got it.
But for the most part, on the student side, I see this more for like the test remediation, open
Okay.
office hours, kind of thing. And then obviously the students have it as well. And our individuals that we're employing as tutors have this as well. So their calendars can be built out using bookings. So that's something we can certainly explore with those stakeholders and the way that they could use it. So I think it depending on your role and how you use your calendars already, we can find a bunch of uses. But you're right. It's like, okay, which tool do I use? Because there is a bunch of overlap. A bunch of them kind of do the same thing, but they each kind of have their own specific things that they do as well. Right.
Got it.
So there is a lot of overlap in places, but the stuff in the bookings doesn't necessarily sleep inside the find time, right? In find time, I'm just clicking on a time that's good for me. I don't get the opportunity to put a comment. I can't put in my phone number, my email address, kind of those things that go along from a customer standpoint of things or from someone on the other side of something. So I think it's just kind of finding those different uses in there. But that's a
And then
good
my-
point, Rose.
And then my only other question is which is not always great with the Canvas calendar, when a student would schedule an individual appointment, does it come up that says Andrew Boble, 9 to 9:30, Steph Jeffers, 9:30 to 10 on your actual calendar?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
So when I did, let me do this because I did my Gmail address. First of all, let me show you what we get here. As a Gmail recipient, we get this. Hello, Joe Belgrass. Your booking is confirmed. Remediation time with Andrew Boble on Tuesday, the 22nd from 3 to 4. I have the opportunity to reschedule there if I need to. Because this went to Gmail, it's Gmail seeing my calendar. So I can add it right there.
okay,
If I'm sending it to my Widener email address, it will just go to my Office 365 calendar. If I'm typing in a Yahoo address, it's going to go to my Yahoo calendar. So
Okay.
depending on where you're sending it or what email address you give to the system. Now, when I go back and I look at my, oh, geez, I got too much going on at the moment. If I go back and I look at my bookings and I look at my calendar for my exam 1 remediation, I should have my, what did I do here? Did I cancel it on my end? I could have. I was messing around so much this morning trying to get it in a place where you guys saw both ends. Let me make sure that I don't have it on my own calendar. And I'm speaking correctly here. But I should have it there on my 22nd. And maybe it's just because yeah, see, it's not showing there. What time was that scheduled?
3 o'clock, 3:30.
Yeah, 3:30 on the 22nd. Remediation time, exam 1 remediation. Okay, exam 1 remediation. I'm in the right place. I think I might have deleted it on my end. And let me just double check here. But you'll see if I do my own booking page and I come back here, here's my fall advising. Let's schedule a senior advising with Andrew Boble on the 22nd at 4. I might really confuse it by putting in the same email address, but we'll see. All right, we're going to book it. We're going to work on it. Da, 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 da. Really working on it. Oh no. Something's going on there, Rose.
Okay, that's fine. No, it's fine. I just wanted to know, like on your main calendar in Office 365, these should show up.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
On your main calendar, even though you made the bookings calendar to start inside of your own display, you'll get your slots where people have booked.
got it.
I'm wondering if my 20 seconds stayed over here.
It's spinning, something spinning.
Oh, it is. Look, there it is.
It is.
So that one did stay over. I'm not sure why we didn't display in the actual booking calendar there, but we got it. And I
Okay,
can see it was Joe Belgrash. Here's my information. Here's where they signed up, phone number. It's all right there for me.
yeah, that's one of my frustrations with the Canvas calendar is that the individual people don't show up.
Yeah, that
But
is,
that's okay.
yeah, you gotta drill down into the specific scheduling page to get their names, because you're right, you just get the block of time. Yeah, so you're definitely a little bit more information as far as what specific instances are happening on this calendar. So that's a good
Mhm.
feature.
Yeah. Okay, that was helpful. No, this is
All right,
actually kind
good.
of cool. Let me ask you one other thing, and you may not know this answer. So
Sure.
Julia has Office 365 as well, and they have a separate app, which we don't have as part of our Office 365